Welcome back, everyone. It is the 6th annual Artifexian Christmas pub quiz. We're joined by some old friends, some new friends, and we're going to have a very merry time. So I'm going to pass it on to everyone to give a little bit of introductions here. So we're going to start with David Peterson. Who are you? What do you do? Where can people find you?
Hello, my name is David Peterson. I am a language creator. I've created languages for television shows and movies like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Dune, and also others. Have I done other things?
A lot.
I've written a book called The Art of Language Invention, and if you buy that one, I actually get some money for it because it's earned out its advance. The other one, no. It's never going to earn out its advance. Nobody buys that one, so don't buy that one. No, wait, or buy a lot of it. I don't remember. You know what? Honestly, it doesn't matter. If you can find it for free, you find it for free. Hopefully, it'll be useful to you. I don't care. So, and you can find me at Daedalus, Dedalvs on Blue Sky and Tumblr, and not that on Instagram because somebody took it 12 years ago and they're just sitting on it because they don't like me specifically and are trying to troll me, and it's working.
It's on Instagram.
I'm Oathabrazar. Athabrazar is a Dothraki word that means excellent. There we are.
Do you want to tell people what the name of that second book is? So they can buy lots of it.
God, I hated the title of this book. This book is called this book is called Create Your Own Secret Language, a beginner's guide, introduction to ciphers and codes. And I hated the title, and I said, please don't call it this. And they're like, but SEO says this is a good title, and so that's why it's called that.
Apparently that didn't work.
I hate it so much.
Go buy 10,000 copies of that.
There we go.
David can get some money from it.
You can see some Kamikawi in it. I managed to get that in there. Oh, and also the word, this is what I was really proud of. I got the word CE in there. So the seer is somebody that sees something, and the thing that's seen is the CE, spelled Seeee.
David wins at language. Love it. So David is our first contestant. Our second contestant is Jessie. Same thing. Who are you? What do you do? Where can people find you?
Hey, I'm Jessie Peterson. I can be found every Thursday on YouTube with David at Langtime Studio.
Oh, that's right.
For a live stream. And that's obviously how I'm best known. I have worked on, I am sick. And so my voice, I feel like I was sick last year too. So this is just the time of year. Excuse me. And so I've worked with David on Dune, Shadow and Bone, Vampire Academy, Motherland, Fort Salem, lots of other projects, and Elemental, very fun projects. Doing a lot of projects right now that we can talk about in like 2 or 3 years. And hopefully by the end of 2025, you will be able to find my textbook on conlanging released. It is in production right now, and so fingers crossed that comes out within the year.
Woo!
I'm going to make a note to future Edgar to put a hyperlink to that years down the line.
years. Hopefully just one, but maybe multiple. And I'm Quothalinguist on all the social media things that I participate in, although really Blue Sky and Instagram are the only ones where I am more active. And on Instagram, you're more likely to find pictures of food than language.
Nice. Also, I will say, Jessie, I just want to shout out Conlang Year. Again, I don't think you did it there, but I'm going to drop a link to Conlang Year because it is boss. Anyone who's beginning the process of learning how to Conlang Year is just a wonderful, wonderful framework. You got to go check it out. And even if you're not a beginner.
Thank you.
I would like to say that I deeply regret not shouting out Conlang Year when I had the chance. I should have done it in January when it was just kicking off, but I was very busy at the time. And then, that would have been the perfect moment to do it. But I will also shout it out right now at the end of the year. You have 9 days to go through the whole year. Good luck.
Or just start it next year. Just start it next year.
So Jessie is our second contestant. Our third contestant, new to the show, is George Corley. George,
Hello.
who are you?
Yeah. My name is George Corley, and I have a YouTube channel and a podcast called Conlangery. The podcast, I do have one in the can. It's been a while since I did the podcast, but there should be one coming out in January. But the thing that people see me regularly on is on the Conlangery channel every Friday at 8 a.m. Central Time. I have a live stream that I call Tongues and Runes, and I have created. I'm going through what they call the exotic languages in Dungeons and Dragons, and also using those to create spell incantations. I have basically, as much as you can finish a conlang, finished the my draconic, which I call Ndakaga. And I am now working on Sylvan, which is the language of the Fae. So Ndakaga is draconic. It's used by like wizards and sorcerers for spellcasting. And then Sylvan is spoken by the Fae and is used by druids and rangers for like nature magic stuff. And so you can see that every Friday, and you can also, follow the channel. There's going to be videos, there's going to be podcasts. It's a fun time. And I'm also, you can find me at Conlangery on all of the social media, especially Blue Sky, and then personally at G.A. Corley, Corley.
Nice. And I will say, for anyone who's not aware of Conlangery, the podcast, the back catalogue is a treasure trove of like crazy useful information. So worth checking out.
Yes, and just to say, like, if you want to go back in the archives, go to conlangery.com, because I got a bunch of things when it was audio only that I have not put on YouTube. So you'll want to go to the site for that.
Links will be in the description. So that's George. Fourth contestant is Madeline. Madeline, you know the drill. What's up?
Hi, not much. I'm Madeline of the Madeline James Writes YouTube channel. I mostly do writing and world building stuff. Probably the most likely to be known bit of it is the world building guide part. That's kind of the most popular, but I do stuff.
And you're an author, aren't you?
I'm not published technically with anything I will admit to yet.
You'll admit? Wow, that's okay. We'll leave that a secret. So Madeline's Worldbuilding Guide.
Find your AO3 profile.
Madeline's Worldbuilding Guide is awesome. Anyone who's watched my channel knows that I've been using it for months and months and months now. Links in the usual places. You got to go check it out. Fifth contestant, the one and only Bib. Who are you?
Hello. At this point in history, most of the people in the world who are aware of my existence know me as Biblaridion, which is a terrible name, far too long, far too many syllables, and there's some considerable disagreement about how many I's are in that word. So you can just call me Bib. And yes, I have a YouTube channel of the same name, and I make videos usually about linguistics and speculative biology, but occasionally other things. And I'm probably other places as well, but I don't really do. I'm on Blue Sky now. And I do actually have an Instagram, but I don't do anything with it. I still don't understand what Instagram actually is. The only reason I have an Instagram is because I met a person at a conference a couple of years ago, and I had a question to ask her, and she told me to get in touch with her, and the only way I could do that was through Instagram. So I had to sign up for Instagram just to ask her this one question. And now a bunch of people are finding my account and following me despite the fact that I don't do anything with it. So there's that.
Did she actually answer you?
No.
That is the weirdest way to contact somebody. is through Instagram. I don't even know how to do private messages on Instagram.
Man, everyone's on Blue Sky. I need to get myself on Blue Sky. This is crazy.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
I've been seeing a lot of it on Reddit, and I'm like, oh, that's a thing now. Finally, there's me. I'll just do a quick one just for the sake of completion. I'm Edgar. I'm Artifexian. Everyone knows who I am here. Surely, if you're listening to this podcast, I have a YouTube channel where I do a bunch of world building. Currently, only world building. Later will be some conlanging, or later will be some spec bio. And then after that will be some conlang. I also have a podcast, this podcast, which I do with my best friend from college, Mr. Bill McGrath. Mr. Bill McGrath, do you want to introduce yourself and tell people who you are?
Hello, I'm Edgar's best friend from college, and I do a podcast with him, which you are currently listening to. That is my sole qualification for being here. I do not have my own internet presence. I write kind of microfiction for every episode of the podcast, and Edgar asks me questions about languages and then very dearly makes a conlang based on my answers to those questions.
A really bad
conlang in the setting that I'm working on. Hello.
I'll leave a link to your blog, Bill, so people go just check it out there, in case we get new audience members. Okay, those are the contestants. Bill's going to be emceeing. I usually MC these things, but I'm going to take part in the actual quiz this year. Bill's going to be emceeing. Before I pass over to Bill and we start the quiz proper, some of you will notice that this podcast almost certainly will not be out in December, even though this is a Christmas podcast quiz. The reason for this is there have been a ton of power cuts here where I live, and we've had to delay this podcast recording, and it's been an absolute nightmare. There is currently a storm raging, so there is a small but non-zero chance that my power will go again mid-recording. If this happens and there's just no more Edgar, that is the quiz. We will be minus a contestant. Bill will take over and he'll sail the ship into port. So, one more thing. Obviously, we've had loads of people previous years, like Name Explains, Lycan, Mitch. We currently have too many friends of the podcast to include everyone every year. So I just wanted to say happy holidays and happy New Year to Name Explains, Lycan, and Mitch. We'll get you on in other years. So yeah. Let's get the show started.
Let's get started. So the first round of questions is going to be from David Peterson. So David, could you tell us what the topic of your quiz round is?
I am hoping that the topic I gave to Jessie to give to Edgar was arcade games. Is that what I said? Thank goodness. It's kind of that was the basic topic. It's kind of like arcade games / action films. You'll see.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, if everyone's ready to go, let's dive right in, and you can give us question number 1.
All right. Well, first, I just want to mention that I never checked this, but I was under the mistaken assumption that Lycan was going to be here. It was really the only reason I agreed to participate. I learned of Lycan's existence last Christmas quiz, and I was utterly charmed by his person, and I was very much looking forward to hearing his voice again. And now that I know he's not here, I mean, I'm a little miffed. I'll just say that. And frankly, I'm thinking of bolting for the door. You're very lucky to have put me first. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. So all of you have big shoes to fill. Okay.
Thanks, David.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, you would have been stuck here by yourself.
No, but I am apparently not living up to Lycan, so thank you.
You're all right. Actually, it would be funny if I couldn't make it. I wonder if Lycan was next up, and so that I'm the reason. He's not here.
Lycan's not here.
Anyway, so Christmas quiz, arcade games / action films. So the thing that I love about this quiz is that we get to talk about our passions. So last year, of course, I was talking about music, which is my number one passion, and today is another passion of mine, video games, but specifically arcade. I will say that I was very fortunate to have lived through the golden age of arcades. For older folks, you'll hear them say that the 70s were the golden age of arcades, like with, Pac-Man, cough coming, Galaga, Asteroids, and things like that. That's cute, but no, it was the early 90s. The early 90s was absolutely the high period for arcades in the history of the world. And I'm very fortunate to have got to witness that. So that's what these questions are regarding, because I spent much of my youth in arcades at a small arcade called Golfland that also had miniature golf, but we just played arcade games there. So question one, get ready. Perhaps the most successful arcade sequel of all time. This game inspired a movie by the same name starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and featured, among others, pop star Kylie Minogue and former NFL player Peter Tuiasosopo, cousin of Marcus Tuiasosopo. Yes, that Marcus Tuiasosopo. Aside from being terrible, the movie is noted for featuring the last silver screen appearance of legendary actor Raul Julia, who played the film's primary antagonist, M. Bison. Name this legendary video game franchise. You don't necessarily have to say a specific one in the franchise, just the name of the franchise is fine. Bill, should I read that again?
Please.
Okay. Perhaps the most successful arcade sequel of all time, this game inspired a movie by the same name starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and featured, among others, pop star Kylie Minogue and former NFL player Peter Tuiasosopo, cousin of Marcus Tuiasosopo. Yes, that Marcus Tuiasosopo. Raider fans will know what I'm talking about. Aside from being terrible, it's noted for featuring the last silver screen appearance of legendary actor Raul Julia, who played the film's primary antagonist, M. Bison. Name this legendary video game franchise.
I have utterly no idea. This is going to be painful this round, David.
Oh, this will be a fun one. This will be a fun one for people my age. Anyway, so should I proceed to question 2?
I'm good. I got something. It's wrong, but I got something.
Bill, you give me the go ahead.
Work away. Question 2.
Okay, question 2. Speaking of Jean-Claude Van Damme, not only did he star in a movie inspired by a video game, he also starred in a movie that inspired a video game. Originally intended to be a video game version of the movie Universal Soldier, Midway ultimately failed to secure the rights, and so instead, the game's creators, Ed Boon and John Tobias, turned to another Jean-Claude Van Damme film for inspiration, a violent action flick about a secret international full-contact fighting tournament called the Kumite. The game was Mortal Kombat, and it both scandalized and revolutionized the world of video games. What was the film that inspired it? And I'm throwing on a bonus question. We're going to start on a bonus question. I throw this one out. While Mortal Kombat is the most famous game to feature digitized sprites of human actors, it wasn't the first. Can you name the first? All right. So think about that. I doubt anybody's going to get the bonus question, but I'm going to read the whole thing again. Get ready. Here we go. Speaking of Jean-Claude Van Damme, not only did he star in a movie inspired by a video game, he also starred in a movie that inspired a video game. Originally intended to be a video game version of the movie Universal Soldier, Midway ultimately failed to secure the rights, and so instead, the game's creators, Ed Boon and John Tobias, turned to another Jean-Claude Van Damme film for inspiration, a violent action flick about a secret international full-contact fighting tournament called the Kumite. The game was Mortal Kombat, and it both scandalized and revolutionized the world of video games. What was the film that inspired it? And then, bonus. While Mortal Kombat is the most famous game to feature digitized sprites of human actors, it wasn't the first. Can you name the first? All right. Get ready for question 3. This one's the hard one. All right. Predating both of these games... These are all arcade games, consoles that I played in the early 90s. Predating both of these games by a few years, Smash TV was a shockingly violent and cynical game for its time. Inspired in part by RoboCop, Its plot rather reminds one of a different 1980s action film. Taking place in dystopian 1999, you play as a contestant on a brutal game show where you must kill or be killed, winning prizes along the way as you mercilessly slaughter gun-wielding attackers for the entertainment of a live audience. This portion of the game was inspired by an action film helmed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, the so-called Butcher of Bakersfield, who is arrested and forced to fight for his freedom as the world watches in amusement. What is the title of that 1987 film? All right.
Yo, what is the word count on that question?
The whole thing is 333 words. That's not bad. All right, here we go. Question 3, one last time. Get ready. Predating both of these games by a few years, Smash TV was a shockingly violent and cynical game for its time. Inspired in part by RoboCop, its plot rather reminds one of a different 1980s action film. Taking place in dystopian 1999, you play as a contestant on a brutal game show where you must kill or be killed, winning prizes along the way as you mercilessly slaughter gun-wielding attackers for the entertainment of a live audience. This portion of the game was inspired by an action film helmed by Arnold Schwarzenegger, the so-called Butcher of Bakersfield, who is arrested and forced to fight for his freedom as the world watches in amusement. What is the title of that 1987 film? There you go.
I'm just going to give myself a 0 just immediately. Like nothing's happening here. I was so scared, David, when you had said arcade games, and I'm like, oh no, games, great. Arcade games, no.
So I am pretty confident in my answer to the first one, but only because of exactly one name that was in the thing, and it was not any actors' names. It was the one character name.
Okay, Bill, how do we go from here?
So I guess we'll just go in order and ask everyone to give me their answers, and then you can say what was correct.
All right.
Usually we would summarize the question first to remind everyone, but that's 300 words, unless you can do like AI-powered summary on the fly there.
I'll do a quick one. Basically, the first one was about the most successful arcade sequel of all time.
Okay, so Jessie, what was your answer?
I'm going with sudden death.
I'm afraid not.
Okay. George?
I don't know. I mean, there's been a ton of sequels, but I believe this is the Street Fighter franchise. And you said the franchise, right?
I did indeed say the franchise. George has got it.
Madeline?
I would just like to preemptively, deeply apologize. I wrote Pac-Man because it's the only arcade game that I can name.
Not exactly a fighting game.
I'm like 12. I'm in my 20s, and arcades give me a migraine, so I'm so sorry.
I spent much of my youth. When I was 12 years old, I would say I spent over 40 full days in the arcade.
Consecutive, no sleep.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I played a lot. I only played a lot of Street Fighter on consoles, but I heard M. Bison. I'm like, okay, I know who that is.
There you go.
Biblaridion?
Yeah, this is definitely Street Fighter. If it's got Jean-Claude Van Damme in it, and Raul Julia, yeah, I know that they were in Street Fighter.
And Edgar?
Yeah, I had no idea for any of this. I wrote Time Crisis because that sounds vaguely right. But there we go.
Whoa! Wait. Wasn't Time Crisis the very first holographic video game?
You're asking the wrong person, pal.
Okay, so we've a point each for George and for Bib. Is that correct? Okay. David, could you summarize question 2 for us, please?
Question 2 was about a movie. This is an action movie starring Jean-Claude Van Damme that served as one of the primary inspirations for the legendary series Mortal Kombat.
All right. Jessie, what was your answer?
Bloodsport.
Hey, there we go. Bloodsport indeed.
George.
I did not know this, so I just wrote down Mortal Kombat knowing it was wrong. So, because I think they made movies called Mortal Kombat afterward. It wasn't actually. It was Bloodsport.
Madeline.
I also would again like to apologize. I wrote Super Action Movie 4 Frowny Face.
That didn't come out until the late 90s, I think.
Well, I was technically alive then, so.
I personally felt it was a bit of a disappointment after Super Action Movie 3.
It went straight to DVD.
I did not know, but for both the main question and for the bonus question, I put down Dead or Alive, because I know that that is a game, I think. And it may also be a movie. Maybe.
And Edgar.
I didn't even attempt the bonus question. I just yeeted that immediately. And like George, I was like, Mortal Kombat. That might be a thing. They may have made movies. I didn't know if they made movies or not, so I wrote Mortal Kombat, and I'm getting 0 points.
So, Mortal Kombat, of course, was intended to be originally a video game version of Universal Soldier. It couldn't be, so it was inspired by Mortal Kombat, which also inspired Street Fighter 2. Then there were later movies of both Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. How about that? So nobody got the bonus question. There were actually technically
Could I
two
take
answers.
a pop at it?
Yes, please do.
Was it Contra?
No, it was not Contra. A fine enough guess. Actually, it was Pit Fighter. Pit Fighter really was a wild game because you came in looking like, are those people fighting like real people? It was wild. And then Mortal Kombat came along and it's like, wow, that looks like garbage now. You know what? I'm going to throw out an extra bonus question. Bloodsport takes place in the now demolished Hong Kong city of Kowloon, which is famous for being an entirely closed, massive building where tons of people live inside. Can you name a current video game that takes place in a fictionalized version of Kowloon? Anybody? Bill knows it.
I'm not participating, but I do think I know the answer.
Yeah.
Stray?
You got
play
it.
the stray cat? Yes.
Yeah, that's right. In a fictionalized version of Kowloon.
I did not have the title, but I knew it was like the cat walking around.
Edgar.
During the break, I'll just jot in a quick roll here for Bill and we can assign him points, even though he's the MC.
No, I did know that one.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Shall we move on to question 3?
Yes. Okay, question 3 was about the movie RoboCop-inspired Smash TV, but also this action movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Which movie was that from 1987?
Jessie, any idea?
I wrote down the only Arnold Schwarzenegger movie I could think of from back roughly in that period, and I wrote Terminator.
No.
And I know it's wrong, but it was the only one I could think of.
It can't be Terminator.
George?
I don't know if this is even a Schwarzenegger movie. I don't know what, but I just guessed Battle Royale.
That is a movie that came out in the early 2000s and does not have Arnold Schwarzenegger. No.
Okay.
Madeline?
I am personally very proud of myself for listing a movie that Arnold Schwarzenegger was in. I also wrote Terminator, so even though I get no points, I am proud of myself.
Bib?
Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb here. And it's quite a limb, so bear with me. So I have a scene playing in my head. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he says, "I'll be back." To which the other person says, "Only in a rerun." Is that the one?
I think you're talking about Last Action Hero.
No, definitely not.
Huh.
Well, I have two conflicting titles in my mind, but what I wrote down is The Running Man.
You got it.
Oh
my
I've
gosh,
heard of that movie.
Wow, is that actually a line from The Running Man? That's brilliant. Wow.
I have no
Well
idea where
done.
that came from, but it bubbled to the surface at the opportune moment.
Edgar?
So I knew the only Arnold Schwarzenegger film I can name is the Terminator films. I know there's the one where he's like a babysitter. I don't know the name of that. It's likely not that film. So I was like, there's no point putting down Terminator because it's not going to be it. So I just put down another random film. I put down Dirty Dancing.
Oh, what a lovely film.
Do you want to? So I hate that film, right? And the reason why, no, hold on. The reason why I hate that film is, so my father has a brain injury, right? We look after him. He has a set number of films that he watches on loop. And myself and the wife ran the numbers on how many times he's watched Dirty Dancing. And subsequently, how many times we've been forced to watch Dirty Dancing. And it's just shy of 2,000 times. That movie is played 2,000 times in our house. And I despise it. Because of that.
I guess. But
That feels fair, David.
have you seen the reality show for two people that are attempting to kind of recreate a lot of the scenes from Dirty Dancing?
No.
I feel like you should watch it just for information's sake, but also that you could have been a good competitor.
Huh. I will look into this. Updates coming in the new year.
All right.
So, at the end of round one, have I given everyone their fair points here? 1 point for Jessie and George each, 2 points for Biblaridion, and none point so far for Madeline and Edgar. Is that accurate?
Unfortunately.
Yes, done my job.
We are not action movie people.
Or arcade gamers.
Okay, if we're all happy then to move on into round two. Jessie, you're up next. Could you remind us what your topic is, please?
Yeah, my topic is fiber arts, specifically yarn-related ones.
Nice.
And David has to turn his face away from the screen because
Okay.
Oh.
you can't. Yeah, there you go. Okay, David's face is turned.
Am I close enough to the mic, George?
David.
Oh, that's really nice sounding.
ASMR quiz.
That you had a nice proximity effect, but I don't
ASMR
think
stands for a sexy man.
I don't think it matters actually, because after you moved away from the mic, you were still peaking. Your voice is just too powerful for
Projection.
Your mic.
It's all about projection.
I take that for the compliment it is.
Cool. Are we ready then for some fiber arts?
We are.
Okay.
Okay. Question number one. I apparently missed the memo on having a preamble prepared as well as writing lengthy questions. And so my segment will not be as meaty. I will just say, I like yarn. And here we go.
Nice.
Question one. Excuse me. If you are doing a German twisted cast on, what kind of yarn project are you starting? And the possible answers, this is multiple choice. Possible answers are
Thank
A,
you.
you're welcome, crocheting, B, knitting, C, weaving, and D, cross-stitching.
Do you be able to repeat those, please?
I sure can, and this is, again, then in the question, if you're doing a German twisted cast-on, which of these is the project that you would be starting? Crocheting is A, B is knitting, C is weaving, and D is cross-stitching.
Okay.
Okay, so that is question one. Question two, yarn weights are determined by the size or the thickness of the yarn itself and not its actual weight. I'm giving you 4 descriptions of yarn weight, and you need to put them in order from smallest to largest.
Okay.
Here they are. in order. I'm giving you 4 words. Put them in order, and points will be distributed according to whether you got it in the first slot or the third slot. So if you get those slots filled correctly, you get like a quarter of a point. So you're welcome, Bill, to that math. And so these 4 weights: sport, chunky, fingering, worsted. And I'm going to read those again. These are 4 weights in no particular order. You need to put them in order from smallest to largest.
Smallest.
Sport, chunky, fingering, worsted. And then, Bill, do you want to give me a thumbs up when you think I should go on?
Yeah, I'm good.
Go
Good to
away.
proceed. Yeah.
Good? Okay, excellent. Then here we go. Question number 3. Amigurumi has been growing in popularity, both for people who enjoy crafting and people who enjoy buying crafted things. If you're making amigurumi, what are you making? That's an open one. No options.
Amigurumi.
Yes.
Sounds like it's Japanese, but that doesn't help.
So people won't be able to see this because this won't be. There's no video, but we can see each other. Madeline just did like the happiest of happy dances when question 3 came up. So just wanted to put that out there.
I've heard the word before. Doesn't mean I'm going to be correct.
When people are ready, I guess we can start taking answers. Everyone good to go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jessie, could you repeat question number 1, please?
Yes, so question number 1 is, if you are doing a German twisted cast on, what kind of yarn project are you starting? A, crocheting, B, knitting, C, weaving, or D, cross stitching? And I will say there is technically a second answer that could be acceptable, but only if you can tell me why it's acceptable. Otherwise, it's in general not going to be the correct answer. But go on.
Excellent. I like that sort of level of complexity. It's very on brand for the Artifexian Christmas quiz. David, what was your answer for question 1?
Okay, so I will say for question 1, between knitting and crocheting, one of them involves 2 needles. The other one, they both involve 2 needles, but one involves you putting a needle in each hand. The other involves putting the project on a large capped needle and then using one other needle to manipulate the project. It is that one that is the correct answer. Now, if that one is knitting or crocheting, I always mix it up, but I believe it's B, knitting.
Okay.
Bill, do I follow up with an answer, or do I let everybody say their answer?
I think we'll do a full round.
I know what you're gonna say to David, and I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, I have questions about this as well, but let's forge on. George.
Yeah, so I'm going to say knitting because I know that, like, one of those is knitting that David described. But the other is not crocheting. Crocheting just uses a single hook.
Correct.
And I think just hooking the thing in the first place is just hooking. So I chose knitting, sort of assuming that you had had more complex options for getting started.
Madeline.
I also wrote knitting.
Bib.
So before the multiple choices were given, and you just said, what kind of project is this? I just wrote down a big one. But once you gave those options, I went with weaving for no reason at all.
And Edgar.
Knitting. I'm pretty confident you cast on to start a knitting project. Fun story. One of our primary school teachers refused to give us an hour of free time at the end of the day where we play with toys. She made us all knit. I hated every second of it. I've later come to appreciate yarn arts later in life, but in school I was just like, but I want to play with the toys. Every other class gets to play with the toys. So knitting. The answer should be knitting.
Okay, so the answer was indeed knitting. And so that is the typical answer. Now, the secondary answer, and this goes in with David got a little confused because I do several kinds of yarn arts that he sees. Knitting is indeed the 2 needles and you cast onto one, and then your working project is always on a needle as you go back and forth. But what David got confused about is that I also do Tunisian crochet, which is a special kind of crochet where you have a long string, and so the working yarn is indeed all on one hook, but you only have one hook still. There's not a second one, and you go all the way through, you cast on, and then you cast all the way off, and you keep going back and forth like a saw, if you will.
Interesting.
And you can technically do this cast on with Tunisian crochet, but it results in a little bit of a wonky start. You would not do it for regular crochet, which is why I said if you guess crochet, you got to have a good reason, because in general, you're not using cast on. You're just, as George put it, hooking is what we do.
Wow.
We generally don't
Make
call
a
it
little
hooking.
loop
but
on the hook.
If I remember correctly, David described a different thing than the correct answer, but called it by the correct name. Called it knitting. He described something that wasn't knitting, but named it knitting. So where do we fall on awarding a point here?
Oh, you're in charge, pal.
No, he does not get a bonus point because he did indeed describe the wrong thing. This is that classic teacher thing where you're like, you gave the right answer and then you kept going beyond the answer. I asked you to circle one and you wrote this whole thing to the side that was totally wrong. And so now it's like, do I go by the circle, which was all I asked for? And I'm going to say go with the circle because it's, this is crafting 100 and it's like, well, you gave it a shot, buddy.
Right on, Teach. Pound it. Bro.
Okay, I do want to point out to the audience that as Jessie was speaking before she finished, Bill did change David's points to 0.5.
I'm thinking out loud onto the paper here. So I was 1. And it was 0.5, and with this is a discussion. Thank you for committing to transparency, George. Jessie, are you happy with 1 point then?
I am happy with 1 point.
Okay, 1 point it is. 1 point it is. You're the quiz giver.
I feel that many other questions are going to be more of a crapshoot, so it's like let's give points where we can. It's
Okay.
Admirable.
Especially when we get to rocks. Okay.
Yeah.
Rocks.
Now we're on to the fun part of question 2.
All right. So question 2, I'm giving you 4. And effectively the way I'm seeing this, Bill, is it's going to be easiest to just say you got the smallest correct. You got the second smallest correct. Like basically give 0.25 for each slot that is filled correctly. Sure. Instead of worrying about like, oh, you knew that one was bigger than this. And then having to like, that's too much. Okay.
That
so
is logical.
I'm going to read the question, though. The question was, yarn weights are determined by the size or the thickness of the yarn itself, not its actual weight. I'm giving you 4 descriptions of yarn weight. You have to put them in order from smallest to largest, or thinnest to thickest, if you will. And those options were sport, chunky, fingering, and worsted.
Okay. David, what way did you arrange them? In what order?
Fingering, sport, worsted, and chunky. In that order.
Fingering, sport, worsted, chunky. Okay. George.
I'm taking notes, too, to help with the calculation.
Thank you.
I did sport, worsted, fingering, chunky.
Okay. Madeline.
I did the exact same: sport, worsted, fingering, chunky, smallest to largest.
Fantastic. Ib.
I had, I think, exactly the same as David. Fingering, sport, worsted, chunky.
Yep.
And Edgar.
I was really confident based on how confidently David read out the thing, because I also had fingering, sport, worsted, and chunky. But given that Madeline was kind of like, no, this is the order, I feel like we're all very wrong here.
Team switch.
Who's it going to be?
All right. So first of all,
correct ordering.
Really, really good. It is indeed fingering is the smallest. Sport is followed by, it's the next, and then worsted, and chunky is the final.
Yes! Very, very nice. Okay. So we have full marks for...
I almost put fingering first, but then I was thinking, well, when you're doing finger crochet, you want like thick yarn. So I thought that would be a higher weight, but it was the opposite.
Yes.
And so by
I
my
did it purely by
calculations,
feel.
both George and Madeline get 0.25,
Yeah.
I believe. And then 1
Yeah.
point each to David, Biblaridion, and Artifexian.
Yo, I swindled that one. Swindled it. I chose 4 random. I had no idea. Oh, that's great.
Whatever happens now, I'm happy.
Okay. And finally, could you remind us what question number 3 it was?
Yes, and so question number 3 is amigurumi has been growing in popularity, both for people who enjoy crafting and people who enjoy buying crafted things. If you're making amigurumi, what are you making?
David.
So first, I'm just going to say the words that I had written down, which is crocheted animal. And I hope that is going to convey the notion that you crochet up a little beastie of some kind. It doesn't necessarily need to be an animal. It could be, say, a little figure, something that is like a little plushie, but it is a stuffed little creature. Or, if you prefer, crocheture.
We do. We prefer that.
I do not prefer that.
George, what is your answer?
So I have a strong suspicion that David may be right, and that means I am wrong, because I had no idea, and I just said sweater.
Madeline, you were quite confident about this earlier.
I think so. I think they're sort of like what David said, the little crocheted stuffed, like they're cute and little, like they can be animals or other things. Sort of like the brand Woobles, I think it's called. They do a bunch of these, and I have like 9 of those that I've made, and I think those fit in that category.
And Biblaridion?
Yeah, I had pretty much exactly the same thought process. I was just trying to think of what sort of crafty things are popular these days, and I'm not familiar enough with the nomenclature to know what to call them. But yeah, small little animal, like I was thinking plushies, but that's not the right word. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like little
no, that is the right word.
figurine things. That's not a plushie. A plushie is like a particular type of fabric, isn't it?
I don't think necessarily. I think that the idea is there.
Plushie has just caught on to mean stuff.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Those
those.
look nice.
Edgar, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I've always wanted to know the answer to this. I was told that a plushie is like a stuffed toy that doesn't have any extruding parts or hard surfaces. Like, you know the way a classic teddy bear would have extruding noses and things like that, and it would have
And hard eyes.
hard eyes, whereas a plushie is just a sort of homogeneous mass. I heard that and I thought that makes sense, but I'm not sure if that's does anyone know if that's the actual definition of what a plushie is?
Artifexian world building and teddy bear nomenclature podcast.
Sure.
I think I'm going to call that an etymotcon. That is a retcon etymology. I don't think it's true.
Yeah, that was my suspicion. But it sounds good.
For the listeners, Madeline did actually show us some examples there of woobles to the camera of the amigurumi. Well, allegedly, we haven't heard the answer yet, but this is feeling strong. This is feeling strong. Edgar, what was your answer?
So I have an answer that's different from all above, but definitionally can't be wrong. I wrote a yarn project.
Disqualified for overgeneralization.
Yes, I don't think we can allow that.
It was like
Maybe
that.
we should delete points from Edgar for that trick.
It's Christmas, you monster.
Well, you dare Grinch points out of the rest of us.
Do you remember that year where I think it was Bib, he had some question about an animal located in some neck of the woods, and my answer was Afro-Eurasia. I'm following in the great tradition of overgeneralized answers when you just really have a clue.
Were you correct though? Because he could have been not correct still.
Oh no, I was right. I was playing the percentages game there. I was correct, but I did not get any points.
So, Jessie, what was the correct answer? Could you tell us?
The correct answer is indeed a small toy, often a figure of some sort. While often animals, they could also, as David and Madeline have mentioned, they could also be, like a mushroom or a little coffee cup, or just something small, and it's stuffed, and it's quite often crocheted, like what David is holding up here.
Oh, those are adorable.
These were actually our wedding cake toppers.
Aw.
I made them for our wedding cake.
That's great.
Can we get pictures for the video so people can see what we're talking
Oh,
about
yeah,
for later?
yeah, for sure. For sure. We can actually send you a picture of them on top of our wedding cake, so that way it's more official.
Lovely.
But yeah, so that's what it is. If you knew the Japanese word, it is a blend that's based on a word for that roughly means small toy. But yeah, they are incredibly popular. You would not use the term really to refer to the larger animals. Like if David wanted to show you Cowsy is not technically amigurumi because it's a large stuffed animal instead of that little
Finger-sized.
If only when I entered college I had taken Japanese instead of Chinese, I might have gotten it right.
If only. But yeah, so it is incredibly popular, and just like Madeline showed, the Woobles is that company took off, and it's introducing a lot of people both to amigurumi but also to crocheting.
Okay, so in that round, we had Bib and David both come out with 3 points, followed by Madeline with 2.25. Followed by Edgar with 2, followed by George with 1.25. Have I given everyone fair?
Sorry, how did I get 3? Remind me.
Pardon me?
How did I get 3?
Oh,
because I got the first one wrong.
sorry. My apologies. Yes, that should be 2.
Yeah, so he should have 2. Okay.
Yes, my apologies.
Still last. I don't know why I'm saying
anything. Which brings us the overall points to, let's see here. We have Jessie on 1 point, followed by Edgar on 2 points. Madeline and George tied for 3rd place with 2.25. David in 2nd place with 3, and Bib leading us currently with 4 points. A strong showing. Okay, next up we have round 3, and this is going to be George's round. Is that correct?
I think so.
Superb.
Okay.
George, could you tell us the topic?
So the topic is songs from my daughter's favorite movies. Some of my daughter's favorite movies, because they have a lot of favorites. But what I have done here, I've taken some songs from some movies that they like, and these do all happen to be Disney properties, so that narrows it a little bit. And I have taken official Mandarin Chinese versions and retranslated them literally into English.
Oh,
and
legend.
I am going to tell you these. I'm not going to
this.
sing them at first. I'm just going to tell you. I will say I did check with my wife, who is a native speaker of Chinese, with my translations. However, any errors are my own. And I did sort of take some artistic license to make it optimally challenging. So let's go with the first one. I'll just do like dramatic readings at first so that you don't hear the melody. So, release the hand. Release the hand. I don't need any reason. Release the hand. Release the hand. I won't heed the stocks in my heart. Okay, once more. Release the hand. Release the hand. I don't need any reason. Release the hand. Release the hand. I won't heed the stocks in my heart.
Okay. Are we all ready for song number 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, song number 2. Will we be together at the end? I do not believe so. In his world, I am not the female protagonist.
Shoot.
What is
And one more time. Will we be together at the end? I do not believe so. In his world, I am not the female protagonist. Okay, we ready for question 3?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. This is probably the hardest one. It's the most divergent.
Oh, dear.
I will create my own pride, the king's pride. Listen to my own heart.
One more time.
I will create my own pride, the king's pride. Listen to my own heart.
Okay. Has everyone got answers? I'll give you another minute.
One more minute, please.
That is fine.
Since I'm first up, can I beg to hear number 2 again?
I'm sure that's fine.
Okay, I can do one more time for number 2, and then we can get into answers. So, will we be together at the end? I do not believe so. In his world, I am not the female protagonist. I will say this translation is actually pretty on the nose, if you know the song.
Okay.
Oh, this is going to be such a disaster. Such a disaster.
Okay.
That's what we're here for, right?
Oh, that is what we're here for, to watch me come in last place for the 6th year running.
Okay.
So just to confirm one last time, these are Disney movies, right?
They are all Disney movies. Some of them you might not realize are Disney movies, but they are all Disney. They're under the Disney umbrella.
Edgar, question.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Question. Are you looking? What are you looking for? The song, the film?
So I will take the film or the song title. I think for the last one, the other two would be too easy, but I think for the last one, if you actually know the name of the song, I'll give you a bonus point.
No,
Because it's like not an obvious one.
Right. David, what was your answer for question number 1?
Oh no! Dramatic reading first. Let's
Dramatic
redo
reading
the dramatic
first.
reading.
Sure.
You want me to read it one more time? Okay, just to remind you. Release the hand. Release the hand. I don't need any reason. Release the hand. Release the hand. I won't heed the stocks in my heart.
So I want to say first that I was much more confident when I thought that these were Disney movies, not movies under the Disney umbrella, which at this point, name a movie that's not Disney, technically. I'm gutted, honestly. I thought we were working with Disney movies, and so now I'm convinced that at least one of my answers is wrong just for that reason. This first one, though, is correct. This is Let It Go from Frozen 1.
Okay, Jessie?
Same answer, Let It Go, Frozen.
Madeline?
Yes. That is also my answer. Let it go.
Bib?
Correct.
So, fittingly enough, I have only ever seen Frozen in Dutch, with no subtitles. So I have no idea what actually happens in that movie, but I am fairly certain that Let It Go is the right answer.
And Edgar?
Thanks, George, for having the one easy low-hanging fruit question there. It is, in fact, Let It Go from Frozen.
Okay, are we ready for a reveal?
Absolutely.
放开手，放开手，不需要任何理由。Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. Yes, it is Let It Go from the movie Frozen.
Fabulous.
Amazing.
I love this concept, can I just say, George? This is great fun.
Great round.
Number 2, could you...
I will say, so Release the Hand is a little bit... My wife did say 放开手 could be taken like as an idiom that literally means let it go, but obviously that would just give it entirely away.
Yeah. Could you remind us of number 2, please?
Okay, the next one. Will we be together at the end? I do not believe so. In his world, I am not the female protagonist.
David.
So again, I was very confident about this one before the addendum, which was devastating and should have been given at the outset. Horrible. But my guess was Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid.
Okay. Jessie.
That was also my guess, although I did say part of his world, I think was the pronoun I had written down here, but from Little Mermaid. That was also my guess.
Part of his world? Who's she singing to?
She's singing. Well, Sebastian is listening to her.
He's listening, but she's not singing to him.
That's like the reprise when she's on the rock. She says part of his world instead of
that is what she
part
says.
Of your world, I think, right? Rather than part of that world.
Madeline.
I guessed a song from the movie Hercules that's sang by the lady in the purple dress.
Okay.
That is a great film, and it gets a lot of heat. I think Hercules is an amazing film. Absolutely love that
It's
film.
one I've never seen.
Disagree. That's Megara.
I absolutely love the mix of gospel with like ancient Greek stuff. It's just such a cool, quirky mix. Really great.
Yeah.
And Bib.
So this was a complete guess. I haven't seen any of the classic Disney movies in several decades at this point, but I just wrote down The Little Mermaid just because I was struggling to even think of Disney movies. So that's all I got.
Okay. And Edgar.
So I wrote down The Little Mermaid, but like I was specific, and I don't know the name of the song. I was specifically thinking about that song where she goes on about I can never be with him because he's a human, etc., etc. So I was thinking of that, but I don't know the name of the song.
Okay, George, has anyone answered correctly?
No.
Can I have a crack at it?
No.
Okay, you give it.
Sally's song from The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Okay, let's do the reveal. 我们会不会追究在一起? No, I think not. It's never to become, for I am not the one.
Banger.
Yes, it was Sally's song from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Never seen it.
Never in a million years would I have gotten that. I've seen it once, and that was one time too many.
That was.
I've seen it
that was
3/4 of the way
the
through.
one that I thought maybe you don't know it's actually Disney because it's not like other Disney movies at all.
Edgar.
I'm not even joking, man. During the break, you got to start giving yourself scores. This
Absolutely
would be great. You should totally do it.
I
only one
really
who knew
love
this.
that song. I think that's a really beautifully written song.
Yeah,
Lovely chords.
It
to
was
and stuff.
hard to find one from Nightmare Before Christmas because the Chinese version, all of the translations are really on the nose, and that was the one I could find that was most. I thought female protagonist would throw people off because it's a weird phrase, and even my wife said she would probably translate it more as main character because of context. But anyway.
I mean, it's a combination of Christmas and Halloween, so I mean, it makes sense that it would just be easily translated into Chinese.
So here we go, and then the last one. I will create my own pride, the king's pride. Listen to my own heart.
So I'm going to tell you what my answer was, but I am not confident in it. And in fact, I think the rug might be pulled out from under me for a different song from this movie. I guessed I Just Can't Wait to Be King from The Lion King, but it very well could be Be Prepared.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that was my guess.
So I swear I wasn't looking at your answers. That was my answer too.
Which one? Be Prepared or...
No, sorry, Just Want to Be King, or I Can't Wait to Be King.
Can someone remind me what Be Prepared is from?
That was from the same movie.
The Lion King.
I don't remember that one.
It's later on. It's the Nazi song.
Oh, where he's singing to the hyenas. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That featured, by the way, the favorite rhyme of that lyricist, which was "A shining new era is tiptoeing nearer." It's his favorite rhyme.
Madeline.
I guess I couldn't remember what the song was called, but from the movie Brave, one of the ones that Merida sings. So I guess.
There are songs in that?
I think so.
Aren't there?
No.
I think so. Are there?
It's Pixar.
Am I crazy?
Brave is Pixar. They usually tend not to have songs.
I don't know what's happened in my brain that made me think that that's a thing, but my
I
brain
will
now
say
thinks there's
the
a song.
The song is a Pixar from a Pixar movie.
Oh, well then.
Okay. Bib.
Great.
So I had originally written Beauty and the Beast, and then you said something about this one is kind of, not core Disney, and so I crossed that out and wrote Star Wars. So
I don't think there are any songs in Star Wars. I was going to say
Well, there's the
that,
Cantina
actually,
Band.
at the start.
Yeah.
Doesn't have
It's not a
lyrics.
song. It's a piece. It's a piece.
Yeah,
Come on,
it's not
Bill.
a
Use
song.
that musical trailer.
And that is something I'm strict about myself. so I should be.
Nobody sings. At least nobody sings in English in Star Wars that I have ever heard.
And Edgar.
So again, not knowing names of any songs, I wrote that song from The Lion King. You know, the one that Scar sings. So, it's just wrong.
Okay. George.
Okay. Are we ready for a reveal?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't know if you'll even recognize it, but 我要创造自己的骄傲 Did it on my own Did it on my own. That is You Know What's Up from Turning Red.
That's a film? What is Turning Red?
Oh,
It's about a little Chinese American girl who has like a family curse that she turns into a giant version of a red panda.
Oh, cute. That's cute.
And I was very surprised when I looked this up to see like it is wildly different from the English version. It's just like completely different song, completely different lyrics. The English lyrics are like, it may be that the English lyrics are just too American and too like weirdly hyper capitalist because it's all about like I did things on my own and got lots of money, but which fits in the context when you hear it.
Pandas be bootstrapping.
Okay, so in that round, am I right in thinking everyone got question number one? Mm-hmm. And
Everybody,
end of sentence.
yeah. I expected some people to get the second one, but apparently people were like stuck in like brain of what Disney should be, and then not thinking of it. Huh?
Some people don't watch that movie ever, and so it was not. I know that it's a Disney movie.
Yep.
I know that because
Oh,
I play
yeah.
a lot of Disney games and know the characters, but I literally could not tell you a single song or anything more about the movie.
Yeah, also, we lose the Haunted Mansion for like 3 months out of every year because of Nightmare Before Christmas. Ugh.
Wait, what?
Okay.
I raise my hand.
Okay.
What is that?
The Haunted Mansion is a ride at Disneyland, and they reskin it every Halloween, extending through the holiday season up into like New Year. They reskin it as a Nightmare Before Christmas ride, and it's lame.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Nothing but hate from me.
Nomenclature and anti Danny Elfman podcast. Artifexian. So at the end of round 3, the scores have changed, but evenly, linearly. So the layout of the game has not changed. Oh well, actually, hold on, because George didn't participate in this one. So we have a
Yeah. So I don't get a point.
we do have a slight change. We have Jessie with 2 points, George with 2 1/4. Followed by Edgar with 3. In third place, Madeline with 3 1/4. Second place, David with 4. And still on top, Biblaridion with 5 whole points.
Nice.
I'm coming after Edgar's position last.
Oh, you'll get it. Don't worry. Oh, you're coming. Oh, sorry, you're coming after my traditional position, not my current
Yes.
one. Yeah.
Yes.
If we should totally, I would like to motion that we assign a point to George just for the singing. I like this.
I'll allow it.
There we go.
Yes, willingness.
Or half a point or whatever, but I really enjoyed the singing. This is great. And
I
that
can't
rounding was
actually
great.
input that on the
It
form
won't
as
let
it
you.
stands.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It doesn't. My cell is blacked out there, so
Yeah.
that's fine. You don't need to give me a point.
I was really hoping that I'm not fluent in Mandarin, but I know some Mandarin. I was really hoping that would help, just in terms of the syntax of how the English was phrased, but it didn't at all. And also, I am obligated to point out that red pandas are not actually pandas.
True.
Yeah, well,
Bib, you know what I would love to do? I would love to read out the introduction to Moby Dick and simply have you watch without being able to say anything. It's just going to be you on camera listening as we read Herman Melville viciously attacking the position that whales are mammals.
I've never read Moby Dick. Did he actually do that?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's how it starts. And also, high recommend. That is a rip-roaring read.
It's really
so much
funny.
fun.
It's a very funny book. Okay. Round 4. We are moving on to Madeline. Could you tell us what the topic of your round is, Madeline?
So the topic of mine is rocks, or more accurately, rock adjacent. And for everyone that cannot see, so basically everyone that's not us, I am wearing the world's best t-shirt, which says igneous is bliss on it, which is a win, right?
Seal of approval.
Okay, so first I'm going to send you, I have a graphic for question 1 and for question 3, which I will drop in the chat. So here's the first one.
And so for all the audio listeners, there's going to be the standard accompanying video. You can see the graphic on the video on YouTube. Links in all the usual places.
Here we go.
So the question is, and there's sort of 2 parts to this question, but they kind of go together. But the graphic is essentially just a diagram of igneous rock classifications, which are typically done by silica content. When it says light minerals here versus dark minerals, light minerals includes silica. So the question is, what type of magma, so basaltic / mafic, or rhyolitic or felsic, is the most explosive, and which leads to shield versus composite volcanoes, also known as stratovolcanoes? Should I read that one again? Is anyone?
I followed none of it. Absolutely
Yeah,
not a single
please.
word of it.
I'm
Okay, so to repeat the question, so which type of magma is the most explosive? Either basaltic / mafic or rhyolitic / felsic. And which leads to shield or composite volcanoes?
So the answer to both parts is the same one?
Well, like, they sort of go together. So you should have, like, 2 answers that kind of go together.
Okay.
So
So there's 2 separate, right. Okay, cool, got it.
yeah.
How's your geology, David?
I've written down Def Leppard. Is that correct?
It's always correct.
It might be.
Thank you. So, I can you explain again how we're supposed to have 2 answers to this?
So the first one you will write which is the most explosive type of magma. So during a volcanic eruption, right? Either basaltic or mafic magma, or rhyolitic or felsic magma, or / felsic magma. So you'll write one of those 2, either basaltic or rhyolitic. Yeah, the other answer is basically basaltic magma for shield volcanoes or for composite volcanoes, and then it'll be the opposite for rhyolitic magma.
Is this questions 1 and 2 or just 1?
Just one. Or though, if everyone wants to just answer the first one, that's okay. This is the hardest question.
I'm going to say if there is confusion, for the sake of clearing up side confusion, we just go with the first one, which is more explosive.
Yeah.
Do we agree? What do we think?
That seems fine to me.
Yeah, I'm not entirely clear what
Yeah.
the...
So, which is the most explosive? Mafic or Felsic?
Should I read question 2?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so question 2 is, and this is on the general topic of pyrometallurgy. So the question is, what was the earliest documented millennia of copper casting? And as a hint, casting requires the complete melting of an ore before being poured into, like, a cast, as opposed to, like, cold working. So just to kind of help frame yourself in there a little bit. And if you guess the correct half millennia, I'll give you extra credit.
There's no... You don't have... Okay, there's no choices. We just have to go with it.
Pick a millennia.
Try and remember your ages. The sad thing is that this is all part of your guide on rocks, how to world build rocks. I have read that thing over and over again. Do I remember these dates? I do not. Sad
Well, I don't know
times.
if this one was specifically in there, but it was definitely in that archaeometallurgy book that you at least read some of.
And then I gave up because it was rocks. No, I mean, it wasn't that bad on the rocks. The archaeometallurgy stuff was great, though. That was really, really interesting. But yeah, rock talk.
Okay. So then, are we ready for the third question? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the third question also has a graphic. And this question is, countertop or not?
Oh.
I want you to write the letters down of which ones that you think are countertops. And this is just general. This is like the general type of stone. Is that used for countertops, or is that very much not used for countertops? I'm sure there's some weirdo out there that used it for a countertop, but like they are for specific reasons not used for countertops. And you get a quarter credit for each correct answer.
Countertop or not? Okay. Mm-hmm. Again, for everyone, audio listeners, the YouTube video will be your friend here. Links in all the usual places.
Love this question.
I hate this question. Just I mean, like, all of them look like countertops bar one. One doesn't. The rest are all like just the rocks that go on countertops.
Answer along those lines then.
That's don't put pressure on me, Bill.
I mean, I am looking at characteristics of these and their suitability for a countertop. That's what I'm doing.
And I will add that I basically just searched on Creative Commons for the stone type slab, trying to find the examples that were the most countertop-esque of the specific ones I was looking for, and my options were extremely limited, so keeping that in mind. Mm-hmm. Is everyone good with that one? Mm-hmm. Okay, so question 1 is, what type of magma is the most explosive, basaltic / mafic or rhyolitic / felsic? And if you took a crack at the second one, maybe you'll get extra credit, but we'll just go with that.
Okay, David.
I said the basalt one was the explosive one, and the other one was the other one.
Jessie.
I also said basaltic / mafic was the explosive one, and then also answered the other half with rhyolitic / felsic. And I just want to put out there, first of all, Maddie, I got what was happening, but also like I understood more of that question than I understood of one of David's. But I am still completely in the dark about the correctness of my answer. I understood what was being asked, though.
George.
Okay. For the first part, I said that rhyolitic is more explosive. And then if I have what the second part of the question is correct, then I say basaltic is more likely to be part of shield volcanoes. That's where I'm going to go.
Okay.
Biblaridion.
I said the same as George, rhyolitic for the first one and basaltic for the second one, because I'm fairly certain basalt is quite dense and is, I don't know, I would imagine it would, I don't picture it being very explosive, so, but I do know lots of volcanic ranges are made of basalt, so that made sense in my head.
How can it be dense if you use it on food?
God.
Different kind of salt. Different kind of salt, David.
And Edgar.
So again, I should know this because I've been doing this for the past number of months, but I don't. I'm pretty sure the first one, I thought the first one would be basalt because it's a major component in large igneous provinces. Large igneous provinces can be really destructive. It's substitute, explosive in that. And then, the opposite for the second question, which I did not understand at all.
Okay, so the answer is that felsic or rhyolitic magmas are the most explosive, and that's because they have higher silica content, higher viscosity, and higher volatile levels, so more like liquids like oxygen and stuff in it, or, water. Not oxygen, obviously water. And then, so they tend to form composite volcanoes, while basaltic or mafic magmas tend to have shield volcanoes because they have effusive eruptions, so it's steady and non-violent eruptions. Oh, wow. So George gets the extra credit point there, or the 2 points.
So does Bib.
Yeah. I think we all actually ended up answering both.
Yeah, everyone did.
You can decide whether
okay.
we deserve.
Okay, then yeah.
So you're saying that our granite countertops can explode at any time?
Well,
but it's got all that liquid oxygen in them,
I'm gonna rule that as 1 point because everyone aimed to answer both questions. So George, you have your hand up.
Mm.
Yeah, I just my guess on that was like I associate basalt of the rock with like large lava flows like in Hawaii that are big and slow flows. So that's why I was thinking in that along those lines. And those are shields, right?
Yeah, so the basaltic ones tend to be shield volcanoes and the rhyolitic are the most explosive.
They just blow up into the sky. Okay.
Yeah.
Hence the large igneous provinces, because the basalt spreads over very, very large distances, right?
Yes.
I just had the large igneous province thing totally backwards.
Bib would know this because he used one to kill off many millions of animals in a series. So
Indeed I did.
With glee.
Burn them all.
Okay, question 2.
So question 2 was, what was the earliest documented or discovered thus far millennia of copper casting?
David.
Without thinking too much about it, I put 1.5 BCE, and I put 0.5 because you said something about half millennium.
So is that 1500 to 1000 BCE?
I actually don't know. I was hoping that the person who asked the question would know. I wrote 1.5 BCE. That is my answer. You can decide how that lines up with numbers.
Jessie.
Okay.
I feel like this is something I should know in terms of I know kind of what age I'm shooting for, but I have no idea what that lines up with in terms of years. And so my stab, and I did this, I think, better than David did, was 1000 to 500 BCE was my half millennia. So, in the first millennia BCE, but specifically, if I get my bonus point for 1000 to 500 is my half that I'm putting my bonus flag on.
That makes a lot more sense. Mine isn't a range, is it?
No. And specifically, the bonus point was if you got the correct half millennia and you chose the dividing line instead of a half millennia.
I guess I misunderstood that part of it.
And strictly speaking, you didn't actually say 1.5 thousand.
I was going to say, yeah.
It's 1.5 BCE. Yeah, so that year, a year and a half
Yeah,
BCE.
I was gonna say,
no.
David
Oh,
thinks
no.
we didn't cast copper until one. What?
I'm going to rule.
I speak American English. The K was silent.
I'm going to rule if it was right, if you add in the 1,000, that it's allowed. I think the intent was clear. The intent was clear.
Thank you. Bless you.
George.
I went back and forth on this, and I also didn't put a range, but hopefully you can forgive me that. But like, I was thinking of, okay, copper is one of the earliest metals to be used because it's easy to find and it's easy to melt, but casting is more complicated. But so it's like a dawn of civilization, but no, these things are usually earlier than I think they're going to be. So I went with 8,000 BCE. So that's my answer.
Biblaridion.
I didn't go quite that far. First of all, just to confirm, this is copper we're talking about, right?
Yes, copper casting, or casting of copper.
Cool. I went with the, I guess it would be the lower 3rd millennium BC, the 3,500 to 4,000 BCE.
Edgar.
I had no idea. Utter guess. I was really disconcerted when everyone was saying 1,000, 1.5 BC and all that, and I was like, wait, what? Am I really far off here? But I think everyone, the latter half of the crew here, are more on it. I think it is 4,000 to 3,500 BC, or actually 3,500 to 4,000 BC, so the same as Bib.
Madeline, what is the correct answer?
So the correct answer was the early 5th millennia BCE. Which is coming from copper chisels and needles that they found at, I wrote this down, Yemaktepe, which is a tell or ruin mound outside of Mersin, Turkey.
So that would be 5,000 to 4,500.
Yes. No, early, yes, correct, yes. I can do my maths.
Wait, what was the name?
Of the tell, it's Yemaktepe, Yumuktepe.
Sorry, one more time. I need to spell
Bib
this.
and Edgar were the closest.
Yumuktepe.
I can't pronounce anything either, which is
That
great.
was pretty good. Just random fun fact. The word for hill is identical in Turkish and Nahuatl. It's tepe. Completely unrelated. Presumably.
Makes sense.
And they both derive from the native words for copper?
No, neither of them, in fact.
Spreading misinformation online with the Artifexian podcast.
I'm sure that someone has tried to construct proto-world from that factoid.
I have a whole list of coincidental parallel homonyms
Is
across
that
the Atlantic.
online anywhere? Because I would love to see that.
I don't believe so, but I can provide you with some if you wish.
I would love that.
Right now or later?
Later. Edgar.
Cool, yeah.
So George alluded to this. Can we do Price is Right rules and just give points to the people who are closest?
I'm going to say no.
It sounds reasonable, but yeah.
Zeros all around.
Humbug. That's all I got to say to you people.
I gave you a whole millennia to,
Oh dear. Okay, cool.
So
question.
close, though.
And question 3.
So close.
Countertop or not? So which A, B, C, D, which combination of those do you think could be countertops?
So I think the best way to do this is everyone just tell me which ones you think were. And I will tally it up. David, which ones did you think were countertops?
I am extremely confident in my answer. I am fairly certain that it's A and D.
A and D are countertops.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
Jesse.
I was also 100% confident in my answers until David read his, because he had the same answer as I did, A and D.
taking L's all over this quiz.
Lovely to know how much confidence you have in your husband.
George.
He doesn't need my confidence. He's got his own.
He
My
definitely
cup
does.
runneth over.
George, which did you identify as countertops?
I also chose A and D. B is definitely too porous, and C is aesthetically unpleasing. So
I think it's got kind of like an 80s kind of deliberately gauche kind of quality
might
to
look
it.
nice in some applications, but most people will not want it for a countertop.
Bib.
Enough. I also said A and D because I thought B just looked like cement and C looks just a little bit too orthogonal. So A and D.
And Edgar.
Similar reasons, A and D, I said, were. C is ugly. B, though, I'm not sure about B. I could totally see B being in some rich hipster's swanky apartment, like hyper-modern look. I would not be surprised if that is, in fact, the countertop. But I wouldn't have it in my kitchen.
So you're saying ABD?
No, I'm saying AD, but C is, I think C could be a bit of a wild card we're all not considering.
So
I'm saying A and D.
We've unanimously answered A and D.
Correct.
Okay. Madeline.
The answer is you were all correct. And you all did a great job distinguishing whether the rocks are countertops or not. For those who don't know the inside joke, that was a dig.
What's the dig? Sorry, can you enlighten me? What's going on? What is this?
Oh, it's just well, I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny. It was the joke you made that all rocks look like countertops.
Oh, okay. Cool. It's a reference that only I will get. Excellent. And I failed to get it.
Jesse and David.
So I want to actually throw out a recommendation here. It might be a little hard to Google at this point, but there is somebody who was very keyed into early computing named Bill Atkinson, who later in life, like he's really famous, I think, for HyperCard, I think it's the one. But anyway, later in life, he developed a method of photographing stone, like, and blowing it up and essentially making these things look like paintings. And they're some of the most gorgeous pieces of art I've ever seen in my life. C actually reminds me of his work. I strongly recommend you give it a look. I was very tempted to buy one of these when I learned about it. They're quite expensive, but it's extraordinary what you actually see in stone if you blow it up to massive proportions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bill Atkinson.
And I will say, like, C, when I say it's aesthetically unpleasing, I'm like, not in an absolute sense, but like it doesn't fit in somebody's kitchen as a countertop with that chaotic pattern, right?
Correct. No.
I think it's got a sort of a Versace Baroque print kind of feel to it. Bib.
Get to know what the different materials are.
Excellent point.
Oh yeah, sure. So A and D, which are countertop materials, A is marble and D is a type of granite. And then B is serpentine, however you want to pronounce that, or serpentinite. And then C is a travertine.
And would it be unsuitable for use as a countertop? As you say, it would be too porous or too explosive or carcinogenic.
Mostly due to porosity and general strength.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so at the conclusion of round 4, the scores for round 4 are 2 points apiece for George and Bib, and 1 point apiece for everyone else. So we have Jessie with 3 points, Madeline with 3.25, George with 4.25, Edgar and David sharing second place with 5 points, and Bib still in the lead with 7. Next round, Biblaridion. Could you tell us the topic of your round?
Right. So my round is called Name That Animal. parentheses, in English. So, the way this is going to work, for each of my questions, I am going to provide you with 3 words, each from a different language, and all 3 of them will be a name for a particular type of animal. All 3 of them for the same one. And based solely on that information, as well as the literal translations that I will be providing, I would like you to tell me what the English name of that animal is.
Love it.
I should also hedge from the top that of the 9 languages that are going to be featured, I have only really closely studied the phonologies of 6 of them, so there might be some mispronunciations going on here. I tried to find IPA where I could, but that was surprisingly difficult in some instances.
Contain yourself, David.
Okay, so, question 1. What animal is known in Japanese as shichimencho, which literally means the 7-faced bird, in Navajo as tonji, which means the pecking thing, and in Nahuatl as huexolotl, which, according to some analyses, can be loosely translated as either old creature or big creature.
Oh, dear.
Repeat, so.
Please.
What animal is known in Japanese as shichimencho, which is literally the 7-faced bird, in Navajo as tonji, which means the pecking thing, and in Nahuatl as huexolotl, which, according to some analyses, can be loosely translated as either old creature or big creature.
Now, what Nahuatl are we talking about? Is this classical Nahuatl?
I'm defaulting to classical, but I think it's the same in most modern varieties as well.
When you say what animal, is it specifically one species, or could it be a number of species that could be referred to by a similar name?
Being kind of loose, there's no specific cladistic rank that you need to get within.
Okay.
I would say for this one, it's a fairly specific type of animal.
Okay. But it's something that could be identified reliably by one word in English, but it might not be a single cladistic thing.
Definitely.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. If you say vertebrate, then you're not going to get the point.
Damn it, that's my strategy.
Edgar, no. We've been over this.
Question 2. What animal is known in Turkish as deniz anası, which means sea mother, in Danish as venmen, or waterman, and in Manx as smugron, which means seal snot?
Oh, the seals. Oh.
Shall I repeat?
Yes, please.
What animal is known in Turkish as deniz anası, which means sea mother, in Danish as venmen, or waterman, and in Manx as smugron, which means seal snot? And I do have a fun fact / minor hint for this one.
I'll take the hint. Hints all day long. Let's go.
Okay. So apparently, while the standard Danish word for this type of animal is venmen, or waterman, if you're dealing with one of the more dangerous types of this animal, apparently you can also refer to it as a brandman, which means fireman.
Yeah, that helps significantly.
Okay. Question 3. What animal is known in Mandarin as liago, or bristly dog, in Zulu as impisi, which can be loosely translated as the one who makes things orderly, and in Hebrew as tsavua, which can also mean speckled, painted, or hypocritical?
Can I get a repeat again?
Mm-hmm. What animal is known in Mandarin as liago, or bristly dog, or I guess it could also be translated as maned dog, in Zulu as impisi, which can be loosely translated as the one who makes things orderly, and in Hebrew as tsavua, which can also mean speckled, painted, or hypocritical?
Okay. Could you repeat question 1, please, Bib?
Okay. Question 1. What animal is known in Japanese as shichimencho? I'm probably screwing up the pitch accent there. Which literally means the seven-faced bird. In Navajo as tanji, which means the pecking thing. And in Nahuatl as we xolotl, which, according to some analyses, can be loosely translated as either old creature or big creature.
Okay. David?
Best I can do for you is rooster.
Jessie?
Well, going the route of, trying to steal Edgar's spot, I think I'm going to steal his method and say bird.
Nice.
Although
Not accept that answer.
I had also guessed, but this is just bonus. My real answer is bird. But owl was actually the one that first came to mind.
It didn't make as much sense to me because they're very young and they don't peck. This is known.
But they exist worldwide.
It's true. It's true.
George?
Oh, I may have approached this the wrong way, because when I confirmed that it was like this was classical Nahuatl, I immediately went to American birds, and I'm like, okay, well, how about condor? But now I'm doubting that, because why would Japanese have a native word for that? But we'll see.
Well, English does as well.
Yeah, true. It's possible.
Yeah. They'd have to call it something. Madeline?
I also wrote owl, and next to it in quotation marks, I wrote bird.
That kind of owl.
Might as well just write. It's some sort of modern dinosaur. We see it seems to be.
Right, yeah. Someone
That
should
is
just
true.
write
That is
dinosaur.
true.
That would be boss.
Edgar?
I had no idea. The pecking threw me a little bit, so I just put woodpecker. That is so wrong.
Yeah, they're natives to North America, aren't they?
I've absolutely no idea.
There are
Yes.
North American woodpeckers. Yes.
Okay. I am. Yeah.
Uh,
Anyhow,
Bib?
that is the answer.
I've given you a hint for this one. Would it help if I told you that in Arabic, it's apparently called dikruma, which means Roman rooster, and in Mandarin it's called huachi, which is fire chicken.
I know that word.
No, it would not help.
Right, the answer is turkey.
It gives it away to me, because I know what huaji means.
Turkey.
Yeah, it's a turkey.
It's turkey. Yeah. Fire chicken.
Wait, turkey's a bird. Turkey's a bird. Do I get a point? It's a bird.
Too general.
It's a bird that is found in Afro-Eurasia, correct?
Yes.
I love that you chose names for turkey, specifically names that are not somebody referencing some other country somewhere.
I specifically avoided those because there's so many of them, because everyone in all the European countries called the turkey after some other European country.
Yeah. That would have given it away immediately if it was Indian bird or turkey bird or whatever.
Yeah, I have no idea why. Apparently, the Japanese seven-faced bird thing comes from the fact that the male's face turns red during mating season, so it's like they're changing colors so that they have different faces, I guess. I don't know. The Navajo just makes sense. That's what turkeys do. They peck.
Yeah.
And the Nahuatl is... I still don't know what's going on there, because the wet part could be related
it's a big bird.
to... It is big.
I've seen turkeys in person, and they are quite big for birds.
So the wet part could be related to wei, which means big, or it could be related to wewet, which means old. But the xolotl part, xolotl is the name of a god. Xolotl is the dog that leads the spirits, the dead, down to the underworld. But for some reason, xolotl can also just be used as like a general term for, sometimes it specifically means dog, and other times it just means like animal in general. Like the word axolotl is xolotl, which means water xolotl. So I don't know what's going on there, but yeah.
So not a woodpecker is what you're saying.
In conclusion.
Not a woodpecker.
Okay, question 2. Could you repeat the names?
Oh, right, sorry. That's something I have to do. So, question 2. What animal is known in Turkish as deniz anası, which means sea mother, in Danish as vanman or waterman, and in Manx as smugron, which means seal snot?
David.
Fairly confident with this one. I'm pretty sure it is jellyfish.
Jessie.
I had also finally landed on jellyfish. That's my underlined answer, as David can attest. Although one of the backups that I was seriously flip-flopping about to the final second was eel.
Oh my God.
And so
That's probably it.
And so I had underlined jellyfish, so I'm going to go with it, even though I do clearly have eel down, not crossed off with the others.
I was so happy with this answer till I saw eel.
Madeline.
I couldn't remember the name for jellyfish or those like fish that look like they're like corals, so I wrote sea urchin.
George.
Yeah. I also went jellyfish. Now that I am hearing correctly seal snot, which for some reason I couldn't hear it properly before, I'm more confident. And the fireman thing made me more confident that it's jellyfish. I was thinking about marine mammals for some reason before, but now I'm thinking jellyfish, yeah.
And Edgar.
Yeah, the answer is jellyfish. Thank you for the hint. I needed that hint to pull it out of RAM.
I almost gave it to you in Irish, but I thought that would be too much of a hint.
Because it is the same. It's smuggler, Roan. But yeah, it's like Manx and Irish are like kind of, what's the word?
Closely related.
They've heard of each other.
Languages.
Yeah.
They have. No?
Mutually intelligible. That's the word I'm looking for. They're very, 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 very similar.
Yeah, so it is a jellyfish, by the way, in case I didn't actually vocalize that.
Okay.
And bizarrely, I still don't know why. So in Mandarin, one of the words for jellyfish is shuimu, which means water mother, which is surprisingly similar to the Turkish sea mother. I don't know what's going on there. Apparently, this is like a cross-linguistic thing. The jellyfish are mothers for some reason. I don't know.
Oh.
It looks like a mother's head with the hair coming out.
Yes. I could see it.
So in Welsh, apparently they're sometimes called pysgod wibbly wobbly, which means wibbly wobbly fish.
Okay, question 3.
Right. What animal is known in Mandarin as liago, or bristly dog, in Zulu as impisi, which can be loosely translated as the one who makes things orderly, and in Hebrew as tsavua, which can also mean speckled, painted, or hypocritical?
David.
So obviously, the giveaway here was both hypocritical and making things orderly. I mean, that kind of made it super obvious. So obviously, it was hedgehog, the ones who go about setting things in order, but in a very hypocritical fashion.
Flawless. Jessie.
We'll just leave that there.
Okay, so my answer up to this point until I had been thinking porcupine because like they look soft and then not hypocritical. But then I was like, I don't think they exist in all these places of these languages. So I'm going with hyena.
Oh.
Is my final answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
George.
Israeli hyena.
I mean, you can have words for things that are far away from you, but I mean, I don't know what liego means off the top of my head. So I was like trying to figure out, and I guess the thing that fits something that's spotted and is they're kind of bristly. I went with hyena too.
Ooh.
Wow.
The maned
Okay.
part that for you said maned was one of the translations as well, Bib. Madeline.
After crossing out porcupine, I wrote chipmunk because they pick up nuts and stuff and make the ground more orderly and take them somewhere else, and they have spots sometimes.
But they always tell the truth.
I don't know.
But Jessie, could you remind me what your answer was again?
Hyena.
Hyena as well. Yeah, I thought so. Sorry, thank you. And Chipmunk and Edgar.
Okay, so I had porcupine. I crossed that out. Then I wrote hedgehog, and I crossed that out. And then I did not write anything else. So I'm just going to take a stab in the dark and just say porcupine. I think I'm wrong on both counts.
Bib, what is the correct translation?
Correct. Your answer is hyena.
Okay.
Heartbreak.
I think porcupine in Chinese is some kind of pig.
I tried to look up how these different senses in Hebrew are related to each other, the speckled and the painted and the hypocritical, and which sense begat the others and how that relates to the word for hyena, and I got very conflicting results. So I still don't know. I saw some people say that, because hyenas have like a dappled, like speckled coat of fur, so that's why. But I also saw this thing where apparently there's a superstition that hyenas are capable of changing shape. So it's like they paint themselves to appear different, so that means that they're painted, but also since they're hyenas and get a bad rep as being like morally dubious, that makes them hypocritical. So I don't know, but one way or another, maybe they're all homonyms. Who knows?
Yeah, I was just saying, since people mentioned porcupine, I just looked that up, and the word I'm getting is for in Chinese, word I'm getting is haozhu, which is like heroic pig. I'm not sure that's the one that I've heard.
Boss.
And then hedgehog is, gosh, the colors, Ziwei, which is thorn, and then the second part just means hedgehog. So it's one of those like redundant compounds.
Cool.
I like heroic pig. That's a pleasing phrase.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like accurate to how it breaks down in that particular word. I have some suspicions about this dictionary.
But it is accurate to the disposition of porcupines. That's the important thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, in round 5, Jessie and George got 2 points each. Edgar and David got 1 point each, and 0 points, unfortunately, for Madeline. And that brings the current state of scores to 3 1/4 for Madeline, followed by Edgar and Jessie tied with 5 points each. David in third with 6. George in second with 6.25, and Bib still in the lead with 7. Shall we move into the ultimate round?
Okay, so my round is about chess. Because lots of important chess tournaments and stuff have been happening of late. The World Chess Championship just wrapped up. Grandmaster Gukesh Damaraju just won the World Chess Championship. 18-year-old. I think he's the youngest ever World Chess Champion. Super interesting stuff. Norwegian chap called Magnus Carlsen, who's pretty famous outside the chess world. People might know him. He just wrapped up winning the Speed Chess Championship for like the nth time. Exciting things are happening. I am crap at chess. I love playing chess, but I'm useless at chess. I was like, let's have a chess round. Now, remarkably, it's extremely difficult to try and come up with a quiz about chess that doesn't, rely on the fact that everyone is super au fait with the chess world. So hopefully this won't be too bad, but it might be an utter car crash. We'll see how we go. My round is quite simply this. I hope everyone can see my screen. Audio listeners, YouTube video, you can see what's going on. Each line here is a question. This is chess notation designed to notate the moves on a chessboard. And your job is to tell me what move each of these lines imply. If it's really difficult, I'll award generous points, but at least 2 can be logicked out if you just have any sort of familiarity with a chessboard. And I guess for the audio listeners, I'll just speak them out as well. So question 1 is, what move is notated KF3? What move is that? What is occurring on the chessboard? Question 2, what move is notated or XE4? What is occurring on the chessboard when that move is notated? And question 3, which, God, if someone gets this, I'll be so happy. What move is notated with H8 equals Q hashtag Octothorpe, whatever you want to call it. I don't know the exact thing they're using there.
So we just expand these out into like the full English of what the move is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember what all the pieces are called.
That would be helpful, yes. Everyone here seems to be just visualizing chessboards in their mind. I see Madeline, for listeners, I see Madeline counting actual physical squares in the air.
You say you're bad at chess.
Yeah.
I managed to lose a chess match in 2 moves one time.
That is the quickest it can be done.
Yeah, there's only one possible way to do it as far as I know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You got yourself scholar mated. Congratulations. I guess, I have a rate, my rating on chess.com is 1,000, which I don't know if that defines as being good or bad or whatever. But I'm frequently crushed by chess.com's computers, and it makes me sad. Oh, I got mercifully, sorry, just while I hope people can still think while I talk, but I got mercifully crushed by the back of an airline seat on the way over to my honeymoon. I tried to beat that bloody thing for hours on end. I could not beat the back of the airline seat. The chess was too strong. How are we fixed, folks?
I'm ready.
Okay, so Edgar, can you read out the first move, please?
So the first move is notated KF3. What is occurring when that notation is used?
David.
All right. First, I appreciate, Edgar, I appreciate you saying that you think that you're not good at chess, but there is nobody who is as not good as me. I could give you lots of stories, but the most relevant is on Bright. A couple of the production assistants started playing an online version of chess with each other, on set, and so I joined in. And I played one of these producer's assistants, Bryce Anderson. I played him 117 times before beating him.
Wow.
I was 117 straight losses.
Did he give you a rating?
Not close.
Did he give you a rating?
Sure. I don't know what it was, something in the 200s. I don't know.
No, not something in the 2000s. 200s would be like, you might be a monkey. Sorry, people who are 200 rated.
No, yeah, like seriously. I find the notion of chess very highly entertaining. I learned nothing, absolutely nothing at any point in time, nothing. I do know the rules, but the answer to number 1 is king to f3.
Okay.
Jessie.
Interesting. I said knight to f3, and this would be its opening move because its starting move. It doesn't have to be the opening of the game, but it would move from its regular position to f3 as its first huzzah.
I believe that the technical term is horsey. So I was pretty sure I got that wrong.
A for horsey, naturally. George.
I also said knight to f3, and yes, I believe that is part of an extremely common opening.
If someone wants to name that opening, I'll give you a bonus point. If there's anyone who's as au fait with chess.
Telling me I got this wrong?
Madeline?
I'm going to call it the braying horse move.
Nice.
I do want to say, like, I am reminded of the way mine turned out, because it looks like you have also chosen a relatively easy one first, and then two that are very hard to get if you don't really know chess notation.
Two is logicable. You can logic 2 out. I don't expect anyone to logic 3 out. But yeah, Madeline.
Knight is one of the ones I didn't remember existed, but I wrote king to f3.
Okay.
I also said knight to f3, and I'm just going to go ahead and say that that's the London opening. Because I know that is an opening, I think.
That is, in fact, an opening. It is. It's a great opening. So,
Who tell?
the answer is that's everyone, isn't it? Yeah. The answer is king to f3. I deliberately put king to f3 to have people fall into the trap if they know that knight f3 is a valid first move. Knight is notated with an N. Yeah, and
is silent.
And then if my memory serves correctly, knight to f3 is called the Reti opening, I think, but I may need to correct that in post. I think it's the Reti opening. Okay, so that is the first one. The second one, what is happening when the move or x e4 is notated?
Okay, my guess is queen's rook to e4. I guessed queen's rook because x for xx versus xy. That was a complete guess. Queen's rook to e4.
Bill's busy typing. Jessie.
I can do both, Jessie.
I was gonna say rook to e4, but trying to think about the board and the layout, the X wasn't making sense to me. So I ended up, and I don't know the move name, but I'm calling it the pawn diagonal move, where like when there's another pawn there, you can jump diagonally to take the piece that's right there. And so I'm calling it the pawn diagonal move. That
So
is its special superpower.
So you're saying
talking about
en passant?
That is exactly, yes, en passant is, thank you. I knew there was a word for it.
You mean
So
the
wait-
one where it jumps to an empty space?
No, it can go diagonally to capture a piece.
So she's not
So-
talking
so-
about the en passant. She's talking about it's just regular capturing.
Oh, where you go by and it's like beside you and you get it
yeah.
in passing?
It's the special move where, you know how pawns at the beginning of the game, they can move 2 or 1. If they move 2, you can later capture them by moving onto the empty space. That is what's referred to as en passant.
If and only if you do it
Anywho.
immediately afterwards.
Okay, anywho, the diagonal move. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, George.
I did opposite. I knew I was thinking it's a rook. It gets to e4, and like my most likely answer, even though it's kind of, I mean, rooks can get anywhere on the board pretty quickly, but my thought was kingside rook to e4, but not sure.
King's rook. Okay. Madeline.
I wrote rook cross, meaning diagonal, to e4. It's a little similar move to what Jessie was talking about, I think.
Okay.
Okay. And Bib.
I thought I had this one figured out, because I thought K was going to be knight, and then king would be RX, as in Rex.
That's what I thought.
And so I said king to e4.
It's actually prescription.
The pharmacist to e4.
Oh. I can totally see how you get there. Okay, cool.
And I was really encouraged when Edgar was like, oh yeah, you can totally work 2 of these out. If you just logic it, it's pretty obvious. And I was like, I must be on the right track.
I don't know about pretty obvious, but you can get there. Like the third one, you're just not getting there. But I would be shocked if someone gets the third one. Okay, so the answer to this one is rook takes e4.
Does the X mean you take it? You take the piece.
You X out the piece. The piece is gone. Yeah. So I figured like X marks a spot, like, you know, hitting a target. I thought maybe someone would be able to work that. the just as a point of like, I don't know if anyone's actually interested in this. Lots of people said king side rook, queen side rook. You would disambiguate with the names of the ranks or the files. So you'd be like rook A goes to e4, and you can doubly disambiguate as well. You can go like rook A1, for example, goes to e4. So that's what that was.
And
Okay,
you
right.
don't have to do that because it's assumed that, like, you would only do that if both of them could get to there.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. If both of them had legal moves, you'd have to disambiguate what's going on.
So are we awarding half points for people who said rook to e4?
I would, if people aren't too offended about it, because it's Christmas. You got most of the move. The rook is going to e4. You just missed the detail that it's taking something. So I would award half points.
Okay.
If I lose
generous.
because of this round,
What? What'd you say, babe?
I get the feeling I'm going to lose because of this round.
Oh, I'm sorry, babe. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Conspiring against me.
And question 3.
Question 3. What is occurring when you see the notation H8 equals Q hashtag Octothorpe £? You decide.
It's not a tag, it's just hash.
That was somebody incorrectly, because the hashtag's supposed to come first. That's, the big fandom saying that the hate you give is just as good as Avenue Q. But no, this is my response. And I felt very confident about this until I realized something obvious would be missing for this. My response was that the pawn has gotten all the way to the end of the board and has turned into a queen, and that this has resulted in check.
Okay.
Okay.
And
let me write that down. Jessie.
Edgar, if I get this right, will you give me double points?
I would let the team decide, or maybe Bill decide. I don't know. Are you very confident about this, Jessie?
I am.
Wow.
And I'm going to find out if I'm taking down 8 pegs.
Wow.
H8 pegs, to be exact.
Okay, what you got?
My answer is castling.
Your answer is castling. Okay.
You take the rook or not the rook, sorry. Yeah, the rook, sorry.
Yep.
And swap it with the queen.
Yeah. Cool.
George.
I simply said pawn on h8 promoted to queen. That's the only thing I can think of is like h8 is on one side of the board, and you move a pawn there. You can choose what to promote it to, right?
Madeline.
Okay. So what I wrote
Oh no.
was checkmate in 8 by taking the queen. It's probably, though, something like from whatever's in h8 is checking the queen. I don't know. I think there's a queen checking happening there. That's kind of what I got.
Queen chicken.
And Pip.
I was tossing around several ideas, but in the end, I did go with what George said. If I understand what he said correctly, it's a pawn has gone to the 8th square, which is the end of the board, and therefore becomes a queen.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
what I said.
Okay. Edgar.
So lots of people were nearly there. David was the closest. I would nearly be like so inclined to give him like 0.75 points for it because he's shockingly close. The answer is the pawn on h8 promotes to a queen, so it has traveled all the way up the board. But whatever you want to call that symbol, that is a symbol for checkmate, not just check. The check symbol is just the addition sign.
I don't know that.
Hold on.
You can't see.
Okay.
He did write checkmate. He's really awful at getting this lined up.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
but you totally said check though. I'll take checkmate, but you did say check. Or did I mishear?
Sorry.
Oh, give him the points. Give him the points.
Edgar, I stand by my confidence, and you can take double points away from me for getting that wrong.
So the castling, it's with the king, not the queen.
That's with both. Both.
You can do both.
Yeah.
What?
You can cast.
You can do both?
You can castle the queen?
You can cast. No. You can castle king side. Oh, I see what you're saying. You can castle king side or queen side.
It's only the king, yeah.
Yeah, it's only the king. Sorry, I misunderstood what
Okay.
you're saying. Yeah. The notation for castling, in case anyone's interested, is like 0 -0. That is a short side castle, and then the long side castle on queen side is 0 -0 -0. I was going to have the final answer be castling, but I was like, that's so obscure. At least H8 equals queen is some sort of information, but 0-0, like you can't expect anyone to know that outside of playing chess. Bill.
Half points for identifying promotion?
I would, yes, we'll award half points and give David 0.75. Or give him the full one. Give him the full one.
Give him the full.
He wrote mate, yeah.
Okay. So, everyone want to check that I've represented you accurately there for round 6?
Let me see if my 0 is correct. Looks good.
0-0.
It's actually interesting because, like, you can promote the pawn to a rook, a bishop, a knight, or a queen.
Correct.
And I don't know why you would ever choose rook or bishop, because that doesn't make any sense. But I did get in like an online, in a chess.com lesson, find like a very, very small edge case where you might want to do the knight.
Yeah. That's the only one that I've seen other than the queen.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like the obscure NFL rule where if you win the coin toss, you can defer the decision to the second half, but you actually have to make a decision in the second half. You don't automatically get the ball.
Wait, though, like, is there some sort of rule, though? Like, if you already have a queen on the board, or if you've already promoted another one to a queen, you can't do a second? Like, because you're out of pieces?
No, you can have as many queens as pawns promote.
What pieces are you going to use?
I suspect, I've never seen this in a serious chess game, but I suspect they just have backup queens knocking around in tournament boards.
I thought they only had one. Anyway, okay. No, like one backup, I mean.
Yeah, but
you can represent a queen with an upside down rook, right?
Oh, I never heard that before. Interesting.
Are they stable? Like, would they not fall over?
I mean, it's probably the only one that would be stable.
Oh, sorry, rook. Sorry. Yeah, rook, yes. I thought you said pawn. My apologies, yeah. So that brings us to the end. Final round upset. From the bottom, we're going to start. We have Madeline with 4.75 points, followed by Edgar and Jessie tied for 5 points.
Yes, all the cool people.
Coming in
Yes.
in third place with 7.25 is George.
Woo!
And now here's the upset. In second place, 7.5 points, Biblaridion, which leaves us with David taking the lead in the final minutes with 8.5 points.
I'm sorry, babe.
This victory is dedicated to Bryce Anderson. Bryce, thank you so much for playing. I mean, I told you about the 117 straight losses in chess, but we played about 160 games before I think that he just grew too tired of it, of playing me, because it was just too shameful. And I can't even tell you how many times, like especially after the first victory, he was like, oh, well, I thought these were going to be more competitive now. No, no, they were not. But I learned something. I learned a lot of the names of things and the rules of things. I just cannot execute them properly or keep any kind of a strategy in my head beyond the move that is happening at that moment.
Next time we meet, I will have to exact my vengeance in some way.
Oh, Bib, we've got to play chess. You and I. Let's play chess, and we can live stream it.
I haven't played chess since the accident.
No joke. I was considering running a chess tournament. I really was. There's a YouTube chess tournament called Pog Champs, where a bunch of like non-chess playing YouTubers play chess, and they're coached by like grandmasters and international masters. And I was like, I'd love to replicate that, but the logistics were just too much because we'd have to, have loads of stuff going. So, yeah, it nearly came true. You nearly played, babe, is what I'm saying, David.
I may be slow to wrath, but I am also slow to forget.
That's all right. Bib and I will do our own thing. We'll start a new YouTube channel where we play each other in chess. Best of 117.
Amazing. Okay, Bill, do you want to do the sign out? Do you want me to do the sign out? What's happening? I suppose you're MC, so you can take it if you want.
No, you can do the sign out.
Okay. Thanks, man. So, first of all, we are an hour over what I said the recording was going to be. So I want to thank everyone here for sticking around so long. I guess particularly European people because it's quite late. Although I might be the only morning person here. So, you know. Thanks for coming, everyone. I really appreciate it. It's been a blast. These are great. And I want to also say thanks to all of you out there listening to us. Thank you so much for listening to us, listening to this podcast and listening to us throughout the year. Bill and I will be back in 2025 with more wonderful world building content. Have a very, or I guess past tense, I hope you had a very happy holiday. I hope you had a happy new year, and we wish you all the best in 2025 and beyond. So, I remember. Oh, by the way, for new people, George, Madeline, in case you haven't seen last year's quiz, what happens here now is I go until next time, and then we all at once shout Edgar out, because that's the sign out to the show.
Okay.
The more chaotic we make it, the better. So until next time,
Edgar.
out. Nice.
George. Oh,
Love
David
it.
did a voice. I should have pulled out the dragon.
Was that you, David? I thought that was George. That was great. Love that.